Mass with Mother Mary.
Mass with MotherMari.
Cynthia Moore.
Good evening.
This is the Mother Mary, and we hold a Mass with Mary. Mary is a spiritual thing, you know. It's a plant, it's a herb. So we just want to be a voice for the people, for us, by us, and by the people. We're just talking about the economic empowerment community, the social equity community, those who were disenfranchised by the war on drugs, black and brown communities. We're not hearing our voice. And in particularly for us who are entering into the cannabis space as entrepreneurs, we just see a lot of slander in different media sources. And we hear our what we're supposed to be thinking depicted, and it's nothing like what we're thinking. So we just want to be a voice, you know. We're here to do that, and
different narrative, our narrative, not the one that the mass media is going to control and tell, but the one that really gets at the heart of issues and how they affect us. Everyone can talk about mainstream, how it impacts mainstream, but we're really getting at the heart of what implications it has for our community, for our businesses, and just for our well-being in this industry.
And that's powerful. You got to understand, black folks don't create, don't control no media in America. So this is our platform. We have to understand this is our platform. And as obscure as things may seem and appear, we need to respect our platforms as such. And, you know, right now, just me and my wife, you know, but, you know, anybody in the community, Massachusetts, who want to be a part of what we're doing, what we're pushing forward, because it's not just our thoughts, it's a conglomerate of our thoughts. And, you know, we are so many different types of people. So this is the reason why we had to, you know, definitely come out and speak, and also, you know, talk about our stories. What I do with my book, Massachusetts Jumping Jim Crow for Cannabis. Go ahead and grab that, because you need to hear what black men are saying who actually experience this racist war on drugs. You understand me? I've been getting drugged for marijuana since I was 14, since 1994. You know, since 1993, you know, when I started smoking marijuana. But cops were always present in our communities. And now that they're saying that this was wrong, and they're recognizing and looking at the numbers and saying mass incarceration is wrong, you know, we want to do something for those who are mass incarcerated, and they're rolling out these social equity programs. Under that guise, we're finding that the people who were victims of mass incarceration are nowhere near around these stories. So we want to just make sure, you know, we start being a platform for those who do it. And it might not be me, it might not be my wife, it might be somebody out there who continues this and comes and joins us and becomes a face of MassMotherMari, because Mary is for everybody, you understand me? And it's the avenue in which we speak. So what you want to do?
Well, let's get into it. You already started to.
And so we're going to talk about topics that we feel like that's irrelevant to us, but we want you to also, you know, chime in with some of your topics whenever you
comment.
Yeah.
Reach out. Let us know what you want to hear about, or some of your thoughts and perspectives on some of the things that we cover in conversation. So, you know, we'll dive right in. One of the biggest things is you talked about EEs, SEs entering into this space, some of the challenges that we face, and things that are kind of circulating in the news and the media, the buzzwords around capital and where we're getting the capital from and how we're going about doing that.
Yeah, that's one of the things me and my wife feel real strongly about. That's probably why we had to speak. Just all the derogatory articles about black folks getting with capitalists and getting with big money, and black folks being the purveyors of big business. You know, they want to put this responsibility on us. Big business is already here in Massachusetts. You understand me? White folks is already here. Big business. And the insult that we face, one, we're not even representing black folks, black, brown folks. We're not representing industry at all. You understand me? But the few that try to get into the industry, they get this derogatory, they get all this negative things thrown at them for doing business the same way white folks are doing business. We have white folks in the social equity program who are doing the exact same business deals that individuals, black individuals, have been called out for. So we're getting beat up in the media unfairly. I think they just need to back up off of us and allow us to build ourselves. And then if they want to attack us, go ahead. But the mere fact that you are attacking us in our infancy and we haven't even built anything, and you talking about you want to save us, you want to help us. White folks, if you want to save us, if you want to help us, you can continue to stop these laws being passed. That's how you help black folks. Because right now in America, I don't know if you noticed or not, white cops do not, black cops, white cops, period, the police do not, they are not responsibly enforcing laws. You understand? They're attacking us. They're directing their laws at black and brown men. So if you talk about you really want to help us, if you want to protect me, you can stand against more laws being put on the books, and you can stand against mass incarceration. You can stand against racial profiling, which they call them pretentious stops. You can stand. That's how you can protect us. I don't need protection from big business, and I don't need to be belittled as if we can't understand contracts and dealings and such like that. Big business is already here, and
they were here before we got to the table.
Yeah, and if you really want to be real, the patents, they're putting patents on everything. People don't understand how. So you can't legally patent a natural occurring thing like marijuana, but they have something called a working patent.
Oh, hold on, you're jumping real fast. So you're going into the patents, and I think the connection here is a lot of folks feel as though the problem with EEs or SEs partnering with big business is that big business is going to take over and they're going to have a control on the market. And what you're getting at is while we're arguing over scraps to get maybe a retail shop or some cultivation facility or one establishment in the industry, big business who's already been operating here in Massachusetts full force, they've got their eyes on something even greater, and that's the patents.
Mm-hmm.
And so what does that mean for, a product manufacturer or a cultivator, some of the folks who want to get in the industry down the pipe?
Well, you jumping the gun now too, so they just had a conference. Big business just had a conference in Massachusetts about how they're going to be scraping up all these patents. So let me explain something to you how that works. You're not going to be able to have an edible. You're not going to be able to have any. So a working patent. How they can wrap a patent around something that is naturally occurring is you take that naturally occurring thing and anything else you add to it. Now you have a working patent. As long as these two things are together, you own the rights to that. So marijuana and sugar, marijuana and honey, marijuana and butter, marijuana, whatever patent, you know what I'm saying? This is what they're doing. They're grabbing up every patent. So you're not going to be able to put marijuana with anything and get an edible. So you say, okay, cool, I don't really like edibles anyway. I just like the herb. You're not going to be able to touch any legal herb. You ain't going to be able to touch any legal herb. Because you got to get this bud right here in a plastic container or container. The container got an ID on it. And this is the only way you're going to get legal herb. You understand? Anything else? The federal government's supposed to be going to be after it. They're going to be arresting people continuously. So they're going to be able to lock. Big business is locking the marijuana down. Big business is coming to lock the marijuana down. So instead of trying to beat up on black folks, talking about we letting big business in Massachusetts and white folks represent 90-something +% of business, white cannabis business in Massachusetts. You understand? Instead of beating up black folks trying to enter into the industry, blaming us for allowing big business or being the purveyors of big business, you want to go after big business as they wrap these patents around, as they use loopholes to wrap these patents around a naturally occurring product. You understand? That's what big business is doing. So it's not these little black folks trying to start little black businesses. And we need to stop attacking each other too. That's why I'm seeing a lot of black people attacking each other. We're not even there yet. We're not even in that position. We don't have that luxury to be attacking each other. Really, the marijuana community, if they really cared about allowing black people to come in and be a part of this, they would leave us alone for a little bit so we could get a little strong. We ain't even crawling yet. You understand me? So we need to be wary of that. And to me, that's racist rhetoric. For anybody standing in anybody, a melanated person's way as they come into this industry, as we are already marginalized in the industry. We being hunted on the street like dogs for our skin color. You understand? So, to me, that's just racism. And that's white supremacy. You have that luxury to sit there on your platform and feel a certain kind of way about black folks because you ain't lived this life. You ain't this color. So you don't even. To me, that's the insensitivity comes from, your privilege, and I don't really care about your privilege. You understand me? We live this life. I live this life. Like I said, I've been being dragged from marijuana since 13, 14 years old. I had a secret indictment. I wrote about it in my book in Massachusetts in 2015.
You want to talk a little bit more about your book?
You can go get it. Go get it. Go get it. I think we jumping around. Did we finish one topic? Go get it. My book, what we talk about. We detail a lot of things from our perspective. You understand me? In the book, and our perspective, black folks' perspective. But, from a political science, it's a political science book. Massachusetts jumping Jim Crow for cannabis. Massachusetts jumping Jim Crow for cannabis. But I don't want to.
A lot of history.
Yeah. But so why don't you break some things down? I'm dominating the conversation.
Well, you were talking about your book. I think your book is really powerful in terms of the history, the context, and the backdrop that it gives as to why we are where we are, and then the challenges. It gives some insight into the challenges that we're facing, and what can be done at the state level to make it so that we can enter the industry. We being social equity, economic empowerment, black and brown people, those who were most affected by mass incarceration, which is the rhetoric that was used to pass the legislation. But that's not what we see happening. Again, that's why we're here. That's why we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, I think we have to make sure that we're not marginalized. What's this right here? Oh, this is the laptop. We got to make sure that we're not marginalized. In this, we supposed, this is for us. This is for us. So they, like my wife said, they used mass incarceration to pass the legislation, but who's benefiting off of it? White women, gays, homosexuals, white homosexuals. Because we have to understand, as soon as they say minorities, they're talking about black homosexuals. There's minorities, last time I checked, that are homosexuals. So we have to understand, when they put a category and they say women, they're not talking about black women. They're not talking about minorities. They're not talking about brown women. They're talking about white women. Because as soon as you say minority, that covers you, black, brown women. When they talk about LGBT, they're not talking about black LGBT. They're not talking about brown LGBT. They're talking about white LGBT. Because as soon as you say minorities, you're talking about LGBT. You understand? Black and brown LGBT. You understand? So we gotta not be confused about these things. They made a place for themselves in social equity, and we have to understand: do they belong there? Have they been marginalized in other areas in
business?
In business, yes, absolutely. Do they deserve to be given some leeway or whatever? Probably, maybe. Okay. But not in something that you said was directly for people who was affected by the war on drugs. You understand? We have to see how dangerous that is. You understand? There are, white supremacists who are LGBT. There are white supremacists who are gay, lesbians. There are white supremacists who are women. You understand? So, you know, when you're talking about opening up a bill, when we look at the bill, when we look at the legislation, we see it's for everybody. But when you're talking about opening up legislation and saying this is for mass incarceration, the purveyors of mass incarceration were white supremacists. You understand? White supremacist government, white supremacist doctrine that we're seeing that's intrinsic in our society. You understand? So, like I said, you have to either say it's white supremacy or you have to say black folks are inherently inferior. You have to say, oh, black people are getting locked up for weed because we are, you know, criminals. Or you have to say black people are getting locked up for weed disproportionately because the system is unfair and it's leading toward a white supremacist system. So, you know, you can't, you know, say we are, it just depends. Some people believe that black people are inherently criminal. Some people believe that black people are inherently inferior. Black people don't own any, don't run any businesses in America because we are inherently inferior. Some people believe that. I don't believe that. So,
well, history says that that's not true. It's just not the history that's taught. But when you look at what happened, and our track record shows that that's not true.
Yeah, fact.
So, switch gears a little bit. There was something that you said while you were talking about equity and that being open to everyone. I really wanted to say specifically what the regulations come out and say, and how that translates into it being open to everyone, because it says one of the first requirements for social equity, the social equity arm, which is about to open up, that window for application is opening up soon. The CCC said they're about to open that up. So if you know black and brown folks that live in any of the disproportionate impact areas, the 29 communities, Boston, Brockton, Cambridge, Somerville, Randolph, any of these communities, Chelsea, Everett, Malden, they can apply and for social equity. That's one of it. You have to have lived in one of these communities for 5 years within the last 10 years, and not make, I think it's either 400% or 500% above the federal poverty level, and you qualify for social equity. Mm-hmm. And there are levels to it, but the benefit for qualifying for social equity is that you get access to technical assistance, whether it's for the entrepreneurial path, management level positions, or just re-entry into the job workforce.
Mm-hmm. The big thing is the fact that you get to cut the line. You understand? That's the big thing with social equity or economic empowerment. Social equity cuts the line.
Social equity get prioritized status. It's not they still get priority review. It seems like everyone gets priority review.
It's been made. This has been made broad, and I'm not a hater. Do you get your thing? But you know, for the mere fact that you try to use mass incarceration to get mass incarceration to get the bill passed, and then you're going to straight disrespect us like this, like nobody from mass incarceration is around, bro. And I gotta be frank, because ain't nobody else being frank, ain't nobody else being direct. And I have friends who still dealing with what y'all did to us in the 90s. You understand? It's still going through. We still ain't been able to get past that. You understand? You know, and it's trauma that we're experiencing. So, you know, I want to make sure my sons and your sons don't have to experience what we had to experience, and you know, with America and racist white supremacy. That's why we need to call it what it is, or our children will have to deal with it. You understand? We have to identify it, and we have to count on white folks today that wasn't a part of building this racist system. They benefiting. Shit, I ain't mad at you. But when it comes time to call a spade, you gonna make sure my son gonna have to handle this white supremacy, or you gonna, you know, try to dissolve this white supremacy with me. So we gonna call it what it is. But there's nobody supreme. You understand? Especially not, you know, what they subject children to. So that's what I'm passionate about in American public school, because You know, I was deemed a thug or, you know, a street naga, you know, whatever you want to call it. But the school system really pushes strong black characters out of the school system by teaching us a white supremacist doctrine. And, you know, we know all of that shit is a lie. This shit is a lie. You understand? Every damn thing they teach you in school, as references history and everything else like that, anything they start with the Greeks, you understand, it's a lie. Because we can't start with the Greeks, because the Greeks weren't the authors. If you research the Greeks, they brag about how they studied in Africa. They bragged about how, like, Africa was the place to go to learn. This is where the libraries was. You understand me? You understand? This is where the real father of medicine was. Amenhotep. So, what you do to these children, these black children, is you subjugate them to white supremacy, but they don't feel like they have a place in the school system. Like, I couldn't concentrate in school. I couldn't even focus on school because it wasn't nothing about me. And I was purposely alienated from that. The American public school is not about education. It's about indoctrination to white supremacy. Yeah. And so to be a strong, wild warrior, they call it the prison to school pipeline. Or the school to prison pipeline. Because they can pinpoint the children in school who they are disenfranchising, the black children, and they know these children will be going to prison because we done pushed them up out of school, and now they running around their block. They running around, and we send the police there every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, every shift. We send the police over there for those kids that are pushed out of the school. So we got to talk about this because this was this war on drugs was directed at children. We got to talk about the children on the front lines. This is something they direct at children because they are so scared of black men. They attack us as boys because they try to get us as boys. I have so many friends that's been in 15 years, 20 years as teenagers. They give us these damning sentences. So just because you didn't experience it doesn't mean it's not happening. And I'm torn to pieces to hear black people being torn down in the media, and we just got here. We ain't even nothing in here.
We're not even here.
We're not even here.
We're not even here. No one's opened the door yet.
Nobody
opened the door. Close. We're close, but no one has opened the door yet.
And let me tell you something. This whole thing about big business, like, that's respect. Because here it is. You got social equity, black man, black woman, or a disenfranchised white person. you got social equity, and nobody coming to mess with you. I literally had a white guy tell me in front of my face. He was doing a lecture. He was telling us. He said, you know, I got money, so I'm gonna be alright. I'm gonna get in the industry. But you know who won't get in the industry? People without money. Flat out. So here we are. The CCC has given us this priority status, which allows us to cut the line for the next 2 years. And it's 2,000 people in line. And white folks saying, you know what? Instead of dealing with those black social equity people, we're going to sit here and wait. I'll wait. It don't matter to me. You understand me? So then you have big businesses, quote unquote. They don't care about your skin color. They care about their stockholders. They care about their shareholders. They can't explain to their shareholders that they didn't do business in Massachusetts because they was racist. So here it is. Big business, they respect our position. That's what we don't need you to respect our color. Respect our position that the CCC gave us a position. So big business would say, hey, you know what? Let me respect their position and join with them. This is why they did the 5149. Because they knew big business was coming. So he's like, yo, 5149. And a lot of them don't even want that. But, you know, the popular claim is that these deals with EEs is horrible. And it's creating this horrible relation. Could you imagine big business pairing up with a black person, black people, and showing them the ropes, showing them how to get into the industry? Of course, they want to get theirs. They already paid their dues. They've been in the industry, set they whatever they charge or whatever, and now here it is. They want to come in. This is America. So, and then under the guise of them protecting us from bad business deals that they don't even know the details of. They're stopping these relationships. Could you imagine if all these black people, all these social equity people started getting propped up with these big businesses? So I don't understand what the beef is. And we see in the legislation ain't standing up against big businesses. The legislation is giving big businesses, quote unquote, the RMDs, whatever they want. The RMDs are allowed to open up right alongside us. So they haven't stood up to the RMDs or the big businesses. So why are they trying to disenfranchise our relationships with them? And when we do get into the industry, these are the people who we got to do business with. Yeah. These who we got to get our marijuana from. And they look at the prices of a pound. If I told you with the prices of a pound, you would tell me I'm lying. $4,000 for a pound. And this is not just for 1 pound. If I come to you and I buy 20 pounds from you, you want $4,000 each for those pounds. That's astronomical for those of us who know the illicit market. You understand? So, you want to add anything? Anything to add to that?
You said a lot.
It's just preposterous.
You said a lot. I think one of the things I constantly think about when I hear folks saying that they are fearful that individuals, SEs or EEs, especially those who aren't, maybe they're not business savvy or they don't have the acumen to analyze contracts, that they would get taken over. As if we couldn't hire lawyers, as if we couldn't hire attorneys to negotiate for us, or as if that were really the concern, then put that on the front end. Provide that technical assistance, if you will, or these key things to look out for, to say, hey, you can engage with big business. They've already put the 5149 stipulation. Just insist that they will review it as they've done with some of these contracts, but without the stigma, and the media plays a role in it. However, if the messaging was, yes, we want you to do business with whoever wants to do business with you, however, they just need to respect the legislation where 51.49% of the ownership needs to be 51 with the SE or the EE, then I think that creates a different tune. And so when big business does come, big business, but their bottom line is they want to make sure they make money. Like you said, they have shareholders to answer to. So here it is. If they know that that's what it is, the beauty of business, the beauty of contracts is that you can be as creative as you want, as creative as your mind can imagine and push the parameters to still fit within the legal realm, but then make money, but still be able to engage in the transaction. My
thing is the things that they're accusing black folks for, like, one, they don't know the details of the business. Two, white folks is doing similar things and nobody's saying anything from what I can see. When you look at the HCAs, all the HCAs are public. So when you look at white folks' ACAs, they tell you everything. And they show the big business taking 49%. And nobody's saying nothing about those deals.
And they have stipulations of what they want on their shelf. They have stipulations as to what else they want to see happen. So all of these things are on the back end that they are concerned people would be taken advantage of.
Let me explain something to you. If I say right now today, I want to open up a marijuana retail store, I have no vendors. I have no connections to any vendors. The big dogs say, hey, yo, you know what? I'm going to establish you. I want you to throw my products on the shelf. The big dog, which is the RMDs or whatever, whoever's establishing you and putting money in your pocket so you can go off and establish yourself somewhere else. Let me say something to you. It's not a good deal for me to just be able to do a deal with you. Big business. Right. If a big business comes to me and we doing a deal like this and I'm partnering with you, you respect me enough to give me enough bag so I can go do my other licenses independent of anybody.
Facts.
If you come to me,
that's the goal.
Yeah, if you come to me and we trying to do a business deal and you don't respect me enough that I can establish myself in my other licenses absent you, then we don't have no business deal. then we don't have no business deal.
It's pretty straightforward.
You understand me? So I don't know how you do business or whoever else do business, but you know.
And to that point, right? Business deal with a big business or a big corporation. That model isn't for everyone.
No, it's not.
It's not because not everyone is equipped with that, with the intention, the desire, or even the mind state to say, "Hey, I'm going to deal with you in this capacity." At the same time, I'm going to also be building my own projects over here. There's some folks that just want to handle their own project, and they want to work with people that will allow them to do that and not have to worry about the hassle of, I'm getting the short end of the stick in this situation, but that's allowing me to go ahead and run with my own sticks over here. Not everybody can handle that model. Not everybody even wants to deal with that model. So we're not pushing this and saying, oh, that is the end all be all. What we're saying is,
do what works for you and stop hating on each other.
Yeah.
Do what works for you and stop hating on each other.
And in that, stop hating on each other. Their big business is here. So even if you're doing your own small thing, guess what? You're going to be buying your weed from someone. You're going to be selling your weed to someone, and very likely big business is going to be on one end of that stick. So
I got a family. I got 4 children. I'm here to create generational wealth for my family.
Facts.
You understand? I'm here to be a part of generational wealth, for my family and creating that for my family. You might just be single. You just want to create a little smoke shop vibe for you and yourself for a generation, and that's cool. That's not what we're here for. So we just need to not hate on each other and respect each other's energy, especially let's at least get through the door. After we get through the door, we can fight. At least get through the door.
And you know what? After we get to the door, we still gonna have to do business together.
Yeah.
This industry is just that small.
It's a small industry, man.
So I think the sooner we get on the same page in terms of realize the goal is for us to all cross that threshold and be able to operate legally and successfully, whichever model you choose to. Because the white folks, they have their micro business, they have their small, regular general applicants, they have their private enterprises who are backed by venture capitalists, then they have their multi-state operations, their big businesses that are operating. All of those models are operating here in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason why we cannot pick which model best suits our personality, our desires, our end goals, and then enter the space in that capacity and still work together, because they still working together. They're out there with their lobbyists, with their attorneys, out there making sure that the legislation that's being passed meets their needs so that they can be successful with their establishments. So we need to be doing the same thing.
Yeah, all this street evangelism is cool, but she said something key: lobbyists. We gotta have lawyers, organizations. So that's what MassMotherMari is about. We're about organizing with other social equity folks, other EEs, other black and brown individuals who aren't even a part of these programs. Because just because you haven't given status, your skin color is your status, because they're hunting our skin color. You understand me? So it doesn't matter if you've been given status by the government like we have, or other people have. You still have status, because that's so. MassMotherMari, we're working to tell all of our stories and be a voice. I think we talked enough. How long we talked? But we're working to be a voice for everybody.
I think it says 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah, we're working to be a voice, and this is just our introduction to y'all, to the people. And go out and grab the book if you don't have it. By next week, I'll be doing a resubmission, and we'll have the audio version ready.
We'll have updated format, updated versions. And if you have read the book, if you have had a chance to digest it, leave a review.
Yeah, leave a review. There's some powerful points I talk on that. I speak on in there. I name names up in there. A lot of names up in there.
Yeah. You get real transparent in there.
Yeah.
Transparent.
Yeah. I'm not scared of nobody trying to run down on me. You can run down on me already if you want to. That's what it is. I come from that, so you understand. But I name names, You understand? It's funny because they do things to you, but they don't think that you can ever be able to articulate yourself and orate and be able to tell your story. And you know what? I don't think I'm that unique. I think a lot of us got a story to tell.
Oh, facts.
So if you got a story, that's what we want to put your story out there. You know, we want to start putting it out there. They need to hear these stories. You know, and you know, a lot of us ashamed. Maybe we ashamed, but we going through trauma out here. You understand me? And we need to talk about that. And it doesn't mean you're a weak individual. I understand, because we all face trauma in different ways. I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm a warrior. I'm a king. You understand? I'm strong. You know, I face what could be, you know, inadvertent peril. You know, every day, anytime we walk out, I walk out. So I face that as a man, as a king. And I think we all need to be strong.
I want to make another, just to chime in, because I think a lot of it, our conversation focuses a lot on entrepreneurs, those who want to run the businesses, those who want to open up shop. But this is for also those of us who want to be able to navigate this industry freely. You know, it's legalized. Folks are making millions of dollars off of it, and yet in our community, we still have this stigma that's so strong that folks are still hiding. Folks are like, oh wait, can I do this? I can smoke, you know. Yeah, I get it's legal, but I still, people around me, myself included, maybe, they're still getting arrested for it. So we definitely want those stories as well to share, because that's part of our experience in this space. Just want to add that, make sure that folks understand it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for everyone. If you're black, brown, and you love the plant, you respect the plant, or you just are curious about the plant, this space is for you. This platform is for you. And if you have a story to share, something that you, a perspective, information, insight that you want, that's important for other people to hear, bring it to us. We definitely want to give you that space to share it.
Yes. Yep.
All right, we'll be back with some updates, insight. You know, as latest developments drop, stay tuned. Tune in. Hear what we got to say.
Mass with